Today we're going to be talking about the Inchies and Twinchies. Come to find out, one of the gals asked me if I would make my current art that we have in the freebie library available in 1-inch squares and 2-inch squares. And what I wanted to test, because I'm starting a new journal, so I was like, holy crap, these are good for borders. What I wanted to test was how printing on different types of paper would make a difference. And so I printed these on just plain old copy paper, normal quality. And I don't know if you can see it, but there's some lines in there. There's definitely still some lines in there. It's not very vibrant. I use an Epsom printer with the Eco Tank. I'll put a link to it. But I really like it. And the thing about the Eco Tank printers is the more you use them, the better the print quality is. So back in the day when I had all those cartridges, I was like, I don't even want to use my printer unless I have to. And now I'm like, I really need to use this thing because otherwise the print heads get weird. Okay, so here is our first comparison. Let's just take one of them. And I think the butterflies are the easiest to see. So here is a comparison of the lowest quality. So this butterfly is where I can really kind of see it the best. It's kind of not, you can still see the grain of the book behind it. I made all these, so I know what it is. It's a blue book. But the butterfly isn't very cute. And again, we have lines where now, I'm not going to spoil the surprise for you. Okay. So now we have total coverage. There's no lines. This was printed on normal copy paper, best quality print. Okay. On my printer settings. And these are really pretty. They do have a vintage vibe because they're faded, but I like to have a little bit brighter look for my journals because I like to have vibrant things. And then let's go to these are the ones I'm going to use. This is my all-time favorite copy paper. If you're just going to use a copy paper instead of a cardstock, this is Hammermill Premium Copy Paper. It's what I always recommend. It's really good. But look how vibrant it is. You can see all her little facial features. This lady who's dark on dark, you can see all her little facial features. And now let's look at the butterfly. That looks amazing. That's really, you can see all the texture of the book, and the butterfly is super vibrant. So what we're going to do now is cut these up. I'm not going to make you watch me cut them all up, but I wanted to give you some tips on how to cut them up because I've been cutting up things. I'm a collage artist, so I've been cutting up things for years. So the first thing I'm going to do with all of these is get these over to the ends. So I want each of the sets to go to the ends. All right, let's go. It's easiest for me if I cut them off the big pieces of paper. So in my real world, what I would do is this. Bing, bing, bing. And if you're wondering, yes, I would say bink while I do it. A lady ruined my life a couple of years ago when I was doing a video a day. So I was doing lots of videos. And it was funny. She said, do you know you say bink a lot? Ever since then, I'm like, oh my gosh, she's right. I say bink a lot. And then I follow this guy, Frank Kern. He's a marketing guy. He's not an art guy. So probably not somebody who many of you would be interested in. But he's younger than me. He's probably in his 40s. I'm in my 50s. But I'll be watching Frank and he'll say bink, bink, bink. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I wonder if it's a cultural thing that people say bink. He's from Georgia. I'm from Pennsylvania originally, so that's a little far apart. we're apart in ages, so I don't know if it's that. And I've never heard anybody but he and I say bink, bink, bink as much as we do. But then people, so it's not fair either, because most people don't make bajillions of YouTube videos. Okay, so we got all these cut up. And now what I'm going to do is cut along this one. And these are scissors from Michael's that were on super, super sale. Functionally, all you need to do for your scissors to stay good is to never use them on anything but paper. And it's so funny because I truly do threaten my children with maybe not death, but definitely dismemberment if they use my scissors. Okay, here we go. Here we go. And these are the Inchies. So let's talk about the Inchies and the Twinchies. How cute is that? So one of the gals in my group, I have a Facebook group, but I think she did email me. Lots of people email me ideas of things that they would like for, I make them free printables. And so people will email me things that they want. And she said, I've been doing this, I found this group and we do projects with 1 inch by 1 inch squares and 2 inch by 2 inch squares. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's interesting. And she said, you don't even have to make new art, because I collage all this art from vintage public domain images from the Graphics Fairy. And she's like, you don't even have to make new art. Just put your art in 1 inch or 2 inch squares. And I was like, well, gosh, that sounds relatively easy. I'm a graphics designer. I've been doing graphic design for like 20 years. So that's no big deal. I think I wound up making them in, could I guess, Canva? But anyways, it was really easy. I have all the original files for these. So I was like, heck yeah. So those are Inchies done with my scissors. Now, the other way I would do these is bing, 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 with a paper cutter. So I do think the Twinchies will be easier. So here's why I always cut off the ends first, right? So I'm going to cut off this end and I'm going to cut off this end. And this is why I cut off the ends, because then when I come over here with my paper trimmer, I'm able to come right along that edge and not have to guess where the start is. So here we go. Just pull it up and then always pull with tension against the paper. So if, see, that's just squishing, right? So if that's happening, come back down here. And the other thing you can do is start in the middle. There we go. That did not do great, but you can always come back in with your scissors. Let's try it again. Now, this isn't working as well as it would if we were using cardstock, right? Because when you're using cardstock, there's some resistance. But this, even though it's hammer meld printable paper, it is still really lightweight paper. So you might have a harder time with cutting it with a paper trimmer, because think about it, the paper trimmers originally started to be made for scrapbook ladies, and so even scrapbook paper is higher quality, heavier paper, almost a cardstock, and so it might be really hard. Let's see if we can get it to cut down on a little bit bigger piece, maybe. Okay, nope, we're not getting that. We'll spear it. We'll go that way, and we'll go this way. Okay, that was much better. That worked a lot better, but I think what's happening is there was a big enough piece of paper to kind of manage itself. And maybe now it's not able to manage itself. I have one last thing I want to try before I just go and cut them all. This is We Are Makers old lady things, because this has a really nice big slider to be able to move around. I really quite like it, and the numbers are really big. But here I got a tonic trimmer. This is like a real fancy Sunday go to meeting. I don't know if this is gonna work. I can't even get this under here. So this would work on like the first cuts. So let's go and get this on the first cuts. And this is a mixed media trimmer. So a paper trimmer would probably be better, just because this is paper. And I do have to stand up to see where our cutting edge is. So our cutting edge is right there. Let's slide the gimbal up there. And let's get this. I got to cut this other end off. See, the more we cut the ends off, the less structure the paper has to be able to manage itself when we try to use a trimmer. All right, let's get this right on both ends. Oh my goodness. Well, gosh, I did not see that coming. Man, that's a nice cut. Holy cow. Tim Holtz and your tonic paper trimmer. I totally dig it. And now, I'm sure my big old melon is in the way, but now I can kind of figure out where this is. And there's a little glare for me. Wow, that's lovely. And it kind of went off kilter here. Now, well, I guess, let's try this side. Well, this isn't going to be big enough for me to get this in here. Can I go from this side? Oh, this is a fun game to try. So there's no way to get hurt because they kind of have the trimmer in there, the blade, and then... See, this doesn't have a way to, I guess I could hold this. I don't have high hopes for this, but let's try it. Okay, so that cut off. I couldn't get that in there. So we're just going to trash that 1 inchy. It's fine. So I am going to go cut all these and I will be back. Okay. So, first things first, let me put this aside for just 1 second. And look at our bajillions of inchies. So there's, I don't even know how many, but there's a lot of little inchies. And then there's, I think there's 9, so there would be 27 big inchies, which are Twinchies. So now I'm going to show you how I'm going to use these on this journal page. Now this is a different video. I went through and I made a whole bunch of backgrounds in my art journal. And so it's either going to come out before or after this one. Keep your eyes open. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here, and I do like to have interest around the edge of my thing. So I'm going to try to find inchies that are kind of that same color palette, the orange. I'm going with the orange, not with the green. So yell if you see any good orange ones. And I'm just looking for a color. I don't care if it's fairies or butterflies or... I just want it to really... That's too dark. Okay, those are good. That might do. That might do. Okay. So those are good. Let's see how many we have. So this feels like a secondary inchy. This gal feels like a primary inchy. And then we could do like a little corner cluster maybe. And then this one doesn't feel right. So This is making me feel like I may want some Twinchies, 2-inch sized. I'm going to get paint all over my Inchies, but I'm trying to look for orange Inchies. That one could be pretty kind of up here to bridge this because it has orange and green in it. This has orange, a lot of orange. Oh, that kind of dark, broody orange. At least I didn't say bink again. Okay. Oh, perfect. Okay, here we go. So this one is just like this one. So we're going to put this gal on the corner here and make sure this gal goes up here so it's not so obvious that they're matchy-matchy. Maybe we put this gal at this corner and this guy at this corner. And then I don't have a corner over here, so I'm not going to try to force a corner. But do we give all these guys their own, like, little bonus one? I do. I think, oh, I love that. Look how cool that looks. That looks amazing. Okay. And I'm sure as I start to go, I'm going to start tearing them up because I kind of almost feel, I'm not going to do it on this one, but I kind of almost feel like I would love to tear along here and instead of making a hard corner, make just a little softer corner, but that's not a bother. So, and this is Lawn Fun glue. I love Nuvo glue, don't get me wrong. But Lawn Fun glue is really, really liquidy, right? And so if I'm doing lots of stuff, then I like Nuvo the best because my glue stays active. But if I want to use a glue I haven't used in a minute, that Lawn Fun always works. And I have pink all over. I have Inchies flying all over. Holy buckets. Yep, that one got orange paint on it, which is fine. Because these are all the backgrounds and the borders. This is not what my collage is going to be about. There's going to be something that goes on here because I'm going to do a whole series in this journal about picking focal points and what you want to do and stuff, because I am, is that right? I am the kind of collage artist that likes a focal point. Some abstract collage artists are like, I don't need a focal point, but I am here to tell you, I am the kind of gal who absolutely loves a focal point. That is my jam. But I do love that there's going to be little tiny, like, interest areas that we can help incorporate into the border of the bigger piece. Like each of these little things that we're doing, the background papers, the painting, the Inchies, everything is just adding a layer and a layer and a layer on this page to make it cooler. Now, I am going to have to let this page dry because it's excessively wet. Like that up there is full of paint. See how much paint came off there? So anyways, that is the end of our Inchie video. Please let me know if there's anything you want. I know one that, a set of Inchies that I'm going to make is Halloween and Dark Academia. That is totally my jam, so I will be making those. But if you're a fan of any of my other printables, and I'll put a link to all the printables in the video description below, they're all free. If you're a fan of anything else and you need some Inchies for it, let me know and I might make them for you. Hopefully that helps. Tara Jacobson, Artsy Fartsy Life.